let you ladies take them if you'd like. And again, because I don't want you to create clutter, I'm not going to hand them out to you. If you feel that you need to use my services, please take a brochure at the end of the presentation. But let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Hope Fabiani. My company's name is Transitions with Hope. So it is my company. I have been doing this work for 5 years. So I've been working with seniors and their families and helping them transition into a new living environment, and also helping them organize and declutter, so downsize. A lot of people, before they move, before they put their house on the market, need to have somebody come in and downsize, because most people, you know, I've been in my house 25 years, so imagine if you haven't moved recently, you've probably been in there 35, 40 years. So you've accumulated a lot of stuff, and all that stuff that you've accumulated, you don't know how to get rid of. And when I say it like that, of course you could throw it in the trash, but most people don't want to necessarily throw things away because they're of value to somebody. So we find donation sites, get you receipts for those. We find different places that are interested in home furnishings that we can donate for you. Places that accept your books, things like that, if you have accumulation of a lot of things. Also, we have work with estate dealers and appraisers. So they will come into your home, and if you've got things that you think are valuable, or even if we think they're valuable and they need to be appraised, they will come into your home and give you an appraisal. Some will sell them for you. At least you know what the value is, and then we can decide on if you want to put it in a consignment shop or if you want a dealer to sell. So for instance, things like coin collections, stamp collections, those things are of value, but when you get to a certain point, you just don't know what to do with them anymore because they may not have been yours. So that's just a brief what I can do for you, some of the services. There are a few others. We help stage your home as well, so if you were moving, and a lot of people don't realize what it takes for a buyer to walk in and see your home and make it presentable. So we tell you what to do, what to get rid of, how to disperse some of the things in your house so that a buyer will see it as a bigger room than it is. Okay, so that's briefly what I do. Again, the name of my company, Transitions with Hope. Isn't that cute? Okay. So prior to doing this, I was a teacher, and I taught for many years, and I also was a guidance counselor. So a little part of what I do is also I know how to talk to people. You know, I've talked to every age kid. But one of my skills is being very organized. So that's kind of how I transitioned into this, because I recognize that, my kids might not have learned all their math skills, but when they walked out of my class, they were organized. So I knew I had this. So I kind of moved into doing something like this after working, helping relatives move and my mother move. So I know when I was helping my mom move, or downsize, because she never really did move, when I was helping her downsize, she would pick up an item and she would say, "Here, take this." And I said, "No, I don't want it." My brothers were helping, so she'd hand it to my brother. "Here, you take this." "No, I don't need it." Next brother, "Here, you take this." And you know what his answer was? "I don't want your junk." So, what do you think my mother said? "Well, I'm keeping it." That was it. There was no home for it. And these were her things, maybe she didn't really care much about them anymore, but she, at one point, did. So she didn't want to just throw them in the trash. Okay, so I recognized that, oh my gosh, there's a huge need. So 15 years ago, this industry was developed. Probably way too late for, those people that were, born in the 1900s, early 1900s, very early, or 1800s. Those people, nobody helped them. There was no industry out there. So now we're a booming industry. There are 35 companies in the state of Massachusetts that do what I do. All of them aren't trained. I am trained. I'm certified with the National Association of Senior Living Managers. I'm also certified in safety and ethics and accountability. So again, I'm kind of going backwards here, but if you ever let anybody into your home, make sure that they're certified, make sure that they have liability insurance, make sure they're bonded. You don't want anybody in your home that says they can do it and they really can't. A lot of times you get people that go into your home and they're really just looking for they're looking for stuff so they can sell it. That's what you don't want, okay? So, again, how I work, most of the people that I work with, I have many resources. Those resources, they might be an estate dealer, they might be a real estate agent, they might be an attorney, an elder law attorney. So when I recognize that there's a need that we need to fill a gap with our client, I will call or I will set you up with these people. Let me tell you, I do not take any markup on any resources I recommend, okay? No markup. So if you are a client of mine, I make sure that I have already vetted those services and you can use them at no markup to me. So I'm not charging you to use my resources, okay? All right, so now you know who I am and what I do. Let's just start talking about what the need is for downsizing, or what downsizing really is. It's getting rid of the things you don't need, the things you don't want, and the things you don't use. So you're thinking, oh, I named 5 things right off the top of my head that fit that category. So why don't you get rid of it? Well, we can talk about that in a minute. But when you walk into a room, and we all have at least one room in our house that we call the dumping ground. It could be the extra bedroom, it could be the sun porch, wherever it is, we have one of those rooms. And in that room, we just walk in, throw the stuff, shut the door. We don't want to see it. Because every time we open that door and we see it, it gets a little stressful because you go, I gotta get to this, I gotta get to this. Problem is, we never get to it. We get too tired, we have other things to do, other things we'd rather do. So the stress, and I'm sure you've all heard it before, you hear it every time you talk to a doctor, you hear it every time you listen to the news. Clutter in your house causes stress. Stress kills. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit. But that anxiety causes everything in your body to tighten up, and that's not good for you. But I can only tell you that actually happens because today when you walk into your house and you walk into that room and you see that there is clutter, just think what goes through your head. Just like imagine what's happening to you, and then realize that your whole body is reacting to this, not just your eyes. Your whole body is reacting to it. So you have to make sure that you're not causing yourself any undue stress, okay? Because stress is not good for us. So now that I've convinced you that clutter causes stress, let me tell you why you have so much clutter. Or no, let's first talk about the kinds of clutter that you actually have in your house that you might say, oh, no, I don't have clutter. You know why you don't have clutter? Because it's all in the closet. It's all behind that door, that extra bedroom door. But let's talk about the kinds of clutter that you probably do have in your house. We have travel clutter. I don't know about you guys, but every time we go away, my husband decides that he has to buy something it's usually a hat, that says Cancun or Miami or wherever the heck we're gone, Acapulco, Mexico. My mother used to do the same thing. My father did the same thing. My husband also buys those little koozies. You put your, they're not expensive. They're probably $1, maybe $2 the most. Keeps your drink cold. So my husband was always buying those. I think we have about 45 in our home. Okay, because he didn't just buy one, he bought 2. So we have about 45 in our home. Nobody uses them. We take them when we go to the beach, but we don't bring 45 people to the beach with us. My mother used to collect little shot glasses because they were easy to travel, like she'd just stick them in her bag when she, on her way home. So she could remember where she went, to all the places that she visited. So where do you think they went? They went into her china cabinet, and every time we'd go over, we'd see them lining up or stacked because there were so many. She didn't even drink, so she never used them. So that was kind of a ridiculous thing to collect. Well, those are the kind of things, I'm sure you all have the sweatshirts. How many sweatshirts are you gonna wear that say Fort Lauderdale on them, right? So those are the kind of things that we collect, and that's what I consider travel clutter. And you have your own, I'm sure. It used to be important clutter. I guarantee you all have keys in your house in that top drawer in your kitchen. You have no idea what those keys belong to, right? Oh, you're laughing. Oh, I think I have a couple, but I do keep going through them. But a lot of times when I clean out somebody's home, when we're downsizing, I have to get a bucket, and that's the key bucket. And we just keep finding keys, we just keep throwing them in the bucket, and one day I say, okay, we're gonna figure out what these belong to. So it used to be important. Okay. Inheritance clutter. Obviously, we all have that.
Yep.
Those are old dishes that you got from your parents, your grandparents, the china that you've inherited, that you might have your own set, now you have their set, you might have their mother's set. So how many people have more than one set of china in their home? Okay. Do you ever use both at the same time? Okay.
It'll match.
Yeah.
Only when I had 16 people for Thanksgiving.
16 people for Thanksgiving, okay. Well, then you use 2 sets possibly?
Yeah, I use my set, which has a dozen, and then I
Okay,
got some
then
other
you had a
ones,
couple
yeah.
extras. Well, those are the kind of things that, as we get older, I'm moving a husband and wife right now, and they said, they're moving to Florida. They said, well, when I need the big table, I need all the china when my kids visit, my grandchildren visit. And I said, oh, when was the last time you entertained them in this house? Oh, we go out to dinner. Well, we're not bringing the china. We're not bringing the 6-foot table either, So think a lot of us are still doing that entertaining. A lot of us stopped doing the entertaining. Our children are now entertaining us. So keep that in mind when you've got all this inheritance stuff. The stuff you get as presents, I call that bequeath clutter. That's the stuff that you get because it's your birthday, it's a holiday, it's Mother's Day, it's whatever day. Somebody knows that you like a certain thing. My mother used to like angels, so everybody would bring her a little angel. She had so many angels, and now these are most of them are gifts. Some of them she bought because she loved them. Most of them are gifts, so most of them she didn't really like. So when we were moving her, she had dozens of angels. I said, Mom, pick 5, okay? Just pick 5. We'll take a picture of all the other ones so you remember how many you had, but let's just pick 5. She was happy, okay? Imposter clutter, that's the stuff that you have in your house that's kind of disguised. It was good stuff at one point, like those musical instruments that somebody played, that trumpet that one of your children or grandchildren played when they were in 6th grade, and you still have that case in your house, okay? So how many people have a musical instrument in their house nobody uses? I do. Okay. You'd be surprised what I have. And we change our decor in our home sometimes. We decide that we're not gonna, it's a new season, we're gonna put this stuff away, and then this next year comes, you go, I'm not putting that out again. We change from golds, maybe accents in our house, to silver accents. And then what do we do with that stuff? We just put it in a cabinet. We put it in a box, put it in a cabinet, and we never look at it again. So I call that the ambiance clutter. Get to it someday. Now, a lot of us ladies don't do this. But a lot of gentlemen, when I have gentlemen in the crowd, they're nodding their head, oh yeah. And their wife's going, oh, you do that. Get to it someday. Well, how many of us have broken something in the kitchen and still have it? But it might have been the toaster. You didn't get the toaster fixed. What did you do? You went out and bought another toaster, but you kept that old one because all it needs is a new plug, right? So you're going to get to it someday, but you know what? You already bought a new one, so. But you don't want to throw it away. Okay, so it's clutter. It's just clutter. And we've got the Bob Hope clutter. Now that's the stuff, the love letters that you never threw away, they're still in a box. All those cards and that you've collected from birthdays and holidays that you don't want to throw away. Last time I was at a woman's home, she had bags. She just kept putting them in bags. And I said, okay, we're going to go through these and you're going to keep the ones you want. She goes, I'm not going through them. I'll start crying. Throw them all away. What was she saving those bags for? I think she had about 8 bags of cards. So again, that's just clutter. If you have an opportunity to sit down and look at them and have some memories, great, but what's going to happen when you're not around? Someone's just going to throw it in the trash. So either enjoy it or get rid of it. And then we've got that mysterious clutter, and then I'll end it with the types of clutter. We've got that mysterious clutter, and that's the clutter, and I can't even imagine not one of us having this in their home. That little piece of plastic that you found on the floor that you say, I know this belongs to something important, and if I throw it away, that's when I'll need it. So we just keep it in there, and keep it in there, and keep it in there. But I guarantee, whatever needed that piece of plastic to make it work, you've thrown it away. But you just have that piece of plastic because you cannot remember what it goes to. So, again, these are all clutter that we all have. So why don't we get rid of them? So I've explained to you all these things that you don't need, you probably don't use, and you probably don't really want. Why don't we get rid of them? What kind of roadblocks keep us from, prevents us from getting rid of those things? Well, a lot of times we think our children or our grandchildren might need it someday. Or you look at something that you've worn once and you go, I can't throw that away, even though it doesn't fit, it's in good shape, I wore it once, costs too much money, I can't throw it away. Right? I mean, that's a big excuse, I paid too much for it. If you think your kids need what you're holding on to, because they might want it, ask them. 99% of them will say, no, I don't want it. They want their own stuff. They don't have if it's memorable to them, they might hold on to it. But they're not really interested in your stuff. So ask them, stop being a storage unit for your children. A lot of us don't throw things away because our personalities won't let us. We're sentimentalists. Everything has a meaning or a memory, so we have to keep that in mind, that sometimes our personalities prevent us from doing it. So you have to kind of go through a process of looking at something, holding it, deciding you don't need it anymore. You almost have to say goodbye to it. We're also can be procrastinators, like I said, I'll get to it someday. Some of us just, like I said, open that door, see it, I'll get to it. I know what I gotta do. I'll get to it one of these days. The problem is someday never really comes. And what you want to prevent is the inevitable. At one point in time, we're all gonna lose a family member that's gonna incapacitate us. Our health may start to fail when we're no longer able to make any of the decisions. So while you're able to make the decisions on what you want to happen with these things, this is when you should be doing it. So for instance, you might have things in your home that you know are valuable, that you want one of your children to have. They don't know it's valuable. You need to make sure they do know. Okay? You need to let people know where things are, what your wishes are, when you have the ability to do so. Because when something happens to you, you fall, you're in the hospital, they say you can't go home, you need to go in an assisted living or perhaps an independent living. Somebody else is going to go into your home, and it may be one of your children, and they're going to not know what to do with any of it, and they're going to say, get a dumpster. You know how many children say that to me? It's the first thing, I get the call, I want you to come, I want everything to go in a dumpster. And I say, I'm sorry, we don't do that. I mean, I might get a dumpster, but I am going to make sure we go through everything in your house to make sure you don't have things that are of value. Because you're not in there now to tell me what to do. Hopefully you will be, because that's why you want to start this process earlier than later. But that's sometimes a lot of the situations, and the kids do not want to deal with it. The kids of adult children do not want to deal with it. They have busy lives, they have their own children, this is not important to them. but it is important to you. So make the decision while you're able to on all those things. So another personality trait that prevents us from getting rid of things is, I call these people pack rats. You're not slobs, you're just pack rats. Everything you see, every piece of paper, every cardboard box, you say, I think I might be able to use that. So you hold on to it. So I call these people pack rats. Not slobs, pack rats. And again, I'm not getting into the category of hoarders. That's a whole different psychological state that some people are in. That's different than what I'm talking about. But we also have those people that say, I do not have clutter in my house. My house is nice and neat. And then I get into their house and I see everything is piled nice and neat up to here. Up to here. So I call them the pilers, okay? Everything's nice and neat, everything's organized, but there's too much of it. Now, we're in an information age right now, so you can get information very easily. I mean, anything you need, you can come right in here and get any senior information that you need. We have the internet. Our children are very savvy in getting information for us, and maybe we are as well. So we don't really need to hold on to too much paper, unless it's necessary, but, your accountant says it's necessary, and I'll tell you about that in a moment too. But a lot of things, we can get that information readily. So unless you need to keep it on your refrigerator or in your address book, probably not necessary to hold on to. Okay, so enough of what our roadblocks are. How do we, what do we do? Well, you know what, why don't we talk about, spoke to you about changing, about making this decision sooner than later. And I think that what you need to do is get a start on it. So if everybody went home today and went to one drawer and started, you would realize how much you need to be doing, how long it's going to take you to get that one drawer taken care of. So you know the process is going to be ongoing. So I want you to get a head start. Before you even do it though, I know you're all here because you want to do something. So the most important thing is changing the way we think. So I'm trying to get you in the mode of understanding that this is a necessary process, or somebody else is going to take the horse by the reins and do it for you. So we need to change the way we think, and we need to realize that clutter causes stress. So that's going to be our first step in changing our thoughts. So let's kind of just start with making a plan. So if you're going to take any notes at all, this is where you probably want to do it. I'm going to give you some tips on how to get started in your home on your own, if you wanted to try to tackle it. You all have a magic hour. That magic hour is a certain time of day where you are the most alert, where you get the most done, and you probably all know it. You probably say, oh yeah, that's when I get up in the morning, I have my coffee, and then that's when I'll clean the house, or that's when I'll do the bills, or that's when I'll take care of anything that is difficult. My magic hour is 11 o'clock at night. Not very good for the family. And I don't get any help at 11 o'clock at night because everybody's asleep and everybody's exhausted, but that's when I have the most energy. So we all know what time of day it is. It could be after lunch, it could be before lunch, whatever it is. I want you to mark that time to start this process. So if you're going to leave here, that's your magic hour, that's when you want to do this. I want you to choose one area in your house. Probably the area that makes you the craziest, because then you'll feel the most accomplished when it's completed. So let's just say it's your closet. One area, one thing. I want you to go into your closet, go into your bedroom. We're just going to pick that. Go into your bedroom, go into your closet. I want you to take everything out of the closet. Now I guarantee there's stuff in that closet in your bedroom. It doesn't belong in that closet. You might have a ruler in there. that you measured something, a dress, hem, or something, and then you just left it in the closet, right? I'm sure you have things in there. It could be a tennis ball, whatever. But I want to make sure that if you're in that closet, you stay in that closet. You don't take that ruler downstairs to the kitchen to put it in the top drawer in the kitchen, because as soon as you open that drawer in the kitchen, you're going to see a mess and you're going to go, oh, I'm in my magic hour. I can do anything. Open that drawer, you empty it out. Mind you, you still got a mess upstairs on your bed because you've taken everything out of your closet, or it's on the floor, or wherever it is. You start going through this. Now you're downstairs. You see something in that drawer doesn't belong there. You take it into the laundry room. You notice in the laundry room you forgot to take the clothes out of the washing machine and put it in the dryer, but you can't put it in the dryer because there's stuff in the dryer. So you got to fold that, because it's got, if you take it out, it's going to go into the basket and it's going to get all wrinkled. So now you've now gone from upstairs to the kitchen, now to the laundry area. Your magic hour is just about over. You're tired. You're done. You're done for the day. What happens? You got a mess in the kitchen. You got a mess upstairs. You've accomplished nothing. So I want you to stay in that area that you started in and not leave. So in order to do that, you've got to create like a staging area in your bedroom or outside the closet. If you have a huge closet, do it right in the closet. The staging area is going to be either boxes. I usually use bags, plastic bags. I have a bag that says toss, a bag that says keep, a bag that says donate, a bag that says family, and one more bag. Sell. There might be something you want to sell in that closet. So I create that staging area. Most important thing is to label that bag or box immediately. Because what happens is, if you have 5 bags, or maybe you have 3 children and you want to have bags for each child, because you know Mary likes this, but John likes that. Sam likes this. So you want to make sure you have everything labeled. The reason it needs to be labeled was you are going to forget which bag, and each time you stop and look in the bag, you're going to take it back out and say, what was I going to do with this? Oh, I think I'll keep this. Next thing you know, it's back in the closet. So I want you to touch it once. Very important. Touch it once, label your bags or bins or boxes that you're going to be using. Okay. Now we have a keep box or bag. Now, if we're going to put it back in the closet, we don't need to put it in the keep bag, because that's just a waste. What I want to go in the keep bag is anything that needs to be put away in a different spot. So that's where that ruler would go, in the keep box. But if you're going to wear it, if you know you have you wear this particular white shirt, you're going to put it back in the closet. If you're not sure if you wear it but you still like it, you're still going to put it back in the closet. So I'm going to tell you how to decide what to put back in the closet as well. So you're going to put those things back in the closet. Everything you put in the closet, and we've got a dowel in the closet, right? Everything you put in the closet, you usually put the hanger like this. I want everything that you put back in the closet, the hanger like this. Okay? Every time you wear it, or when you wear it, if you wear it that season, you put it back and you put it like this. Now, the end of the season, you're going to look in your closet, you're going to say, oh my gosh, look at all the things I haven't worn this season. Those are the things you're going to throw out or donate or sell or give to family, okay? That's going to be your telltale sign. Now, a little statistic. Do you know that we only wear 10 items of clothing in our closet a season? So those 7 white shirts that you have, I guarantee every time you want to wear a white shirt, you go to the one that you like the best. The other ones you never wear, you just hold on to them because it's a white shirt. It's clean. It's in good shape. It fits me, but I don't really like it. So I'm always going to wear the same 1 or 2 or 3 white shirts. I don't need 7. So keep that in mind when you're putting your things away. All the white shirts you're gonna put all the white shirts away, you're gonna put them all in one area. Then you're gonna say, I don't need 8 white shirts. That's when you say, okay, I know which ones I'm gonna get rid of. But until everything's out of your closet, you can't make those decisions. Okay. Now, does anybody have any questions about anything anything that they, you can stop me as we're going along. Okay. A lot of times I will suggest people also, and you may already do this, you may change your closet seasonally. Anything that you put away for a different season, like maybe you put all your sweaters away, make sure you put those in clear bins so that you know what they are. Because a lot of times people put things in paper boxes and they don't know what they are and they don't know where to store it. And I go to somebody's house and their storage area for all their clothes from a different season is in the garage, but they forgot that it was in the garage. And then when we're going through the garage, they say, I wondered where that was, or I didn't even know I had that anymore, because it's been there 5 years. So you've got to make sure that whatever you're storing is visible, okay? Now, how do you make the decision? Well, does it make any sense to store an item? So does it make sense for you to put things in a storage area or take up space in your home to store something that you're never going to use or wear again? So if you haven't worn it in 2 years, you're not going to wear it. If you haven't used it in 2 years, you're not going to use it, most likely. I mean, I don't even know, as we get older, we use less and less of our things as well. So now I was at a gentleman's house recently that we had to downsize. The house was going on the market, but we were trying to downsize everything in the home. And he, each day that we were there, I noticed that he had a yard cleanup crew. So when it was time for us to go into the garage, I noticed that he had yard equipment. He also had a lawnmower, push lawnmower. I said, George, what do you have this lawnmower for? I see that you hire people to come and they don't use your lawnmower, they have a sit mower. He said, yeah, the guy across the street borrows it, so hold on to it for him. So, George, your gym's storage unit? He started laughing. He said, yeah, I guess I am. We brought it over to Jim. George is thrilled. Now he's got space. He's happy that somebody he's made somebody else happy. Jim is overjoyed, so he doesn't have to come over and borrow it all the time. Made a lot more space in that garage for George to get things, out of his house. It's amazing what we hold on to, and we don't even realize it. We don't know why. So again, if you think your kids are going to want it, ask them. Again, as far as paperwork, can you get this information someplace else? Does anyone care about this item except me? So sometimes you're holding on to something because you think someone else is interested in it. Find out. And what is the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to have to go buy it, or are you going to have to spend an extra 15, 20 minutes to get that information from somewhere else? But I will tell you, if your house is cluttered and you've got information somewhere in a stack or in a pile, it's going to take you that long to find it. And, like I said, there's a lot of people do have collections of things, and you can't always take all those collections of everything with you. Hummels, for instance. So my advice to a lot of my clients is just pick a few that you really love, give the rest away, sell them if that's a possibility. Well, take a picture of all of them so you can remember how many you had and how much you like them. So we do that a lot for our clients. We'll just take like a picture and then we'll put the 5 others like maybe on the mantle next to the picture. Okay. Now I know a lot of what I've said to you when we talk about boxes, you know, opening boxes, because that's probably, a lot of us have boxes from maybe when we moved 10 years ago, or from maybe when we just piled things in the box and put them away because we weren't using them. I don't want to suggest that anybody in their magic hour think they're Superman and they can just go into their closets or go down into the basement and start going through these boxes, take them off the rafters. Please ask for help, whether it's a neighbor, a family member, or you call a professional to help you out. Most of the professionals always work with you, okay, unless again, the family hires them and says they're not coming home because they're unable to. So keep that in mind. Again, get the whole family on board. Like a lot of people say, I've got boxes and pictures and albums and I don't know what to do with them. Get the family on board. Invite them all over for dinner one day. Throw those albums out, the boxes of pictures, and say, everybody take what they want. Okay? That's the best way to get rid of those pictures. Now there's also other opportunities if you want to hold on to them. We can have discs made for you, so they're small discs, and you can give those to family members too, so that they don't have the actual pictures. But some people do like those old pictures. The job, doing this job is going to be a lot easier before a crisis, because you might have the mind wherewithal to know what you've got to do, but you might not have the physical ability as time goes on. So do it when you're able to. Okay? And benefits to doing this. Okay. First off, you're going to be able to find what you're looking for. Okay, because everything is going to have a place. I go to a lot of people's homes, and you know they try to start the process without a professional or without help. And their first move is to go to Target and buy a bunch of bins or file organizers or baskets, because they're figuring, I'm going to start this. And what happens is, in that junk room that I walk in and I see, it's still in the bag, and they say, I just didn't even know where to begin. I'm just overwhelmed by the whole thing. So that's where a lot of people start, which is great, but you cannot buy those organizing bins or anything until you've actually downsized. Because if you're buying them, all you're doing is, if you buy them and you start the process, really all you're doing is transferring it from this spot to the bin. And that's not what you want to do. Okay, so don't get caught up in, let me buy all the stuff before. We don't let anybody buy anything until we have downsized them. Okay? And then it's a good time to start buying those bins. So you're going to feel organized and in control. Now, a lot of times, you know, think about the day you clean your whole house, which never happens in my house. It's never clean on, every room is never cleaned on the same day. But when a room is cleaned and you walk into it and you go, oh, it smells so good, right? That's the feeling you want. That's that aha feeling. So look for that, you know, when you start this process. So that feeling of relief, you no longer have the things you don't need, and now you have space for the things you do need, and you can see them. When I go into a lot of people's kitchens and they've got cupboards, you know, that are really high, and they've put things up there that they didn't use very often, and now they can't reach, now they can't even see them, they don't even know they're there. And I pull those things down. They are amazed at what they don't even know that they have. So I want you to keep in mind that some of those areas that are stuffed with things you don't even know, when you pull those things down, now you have space for the things you do need. Okay, because if they've been in that cupboard for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and you didn't use them and you didn't need them, then you don't need them, right? Okay. So you're going to have more space for the things you do need, and you're going to feel that tremendous freedom of knowing that everything is where it belongs, and you don't have anything that you don't need. Okay? So, questions? Any questions from anybody?
Do you do this only for people that are moving, or that are still staying?
We are an organizing company, so we help you organize your home. So a lot of people don't move, they just want to declutter. So we do the decluttering, the downsizing. We also help people in the whole move process, so we coordinate that entire move prior to them leaving home. And you can also do the staging for them as well, so we get the house ready for the market. So we're a full service company, but all of our services are a la carte. So everybody doesn't need every service that we offer. But, most people, the downsizing process and the decluttering always come first, whether there's a move or not.
What do you do when, like, my son just bought my mother-in-law's house, she died a couple of years ago, he just bought her house. And we have relatives that say, well, you can't get rid of that, or a niece that says, well, that's my piano and that's my desk, but I don't have any place to put it right now, so we'll just leave it here. And my
Okay.
husband says they're gonna take that out. But we have a beautiful organ that my mother-in-law had, and it's a 2-keyboard one with a foot pedal and everything. How do you find out who will take these things? I don't even want money for it, I just wanna get rid of it.
Okay, and that's why you have organizations like mine.
Yeah.
We do that for you. But if somebody does want it and they have no place for it and you're not moving, then obviously keep it. You just have to make sure that at the end of the day, there's no fight about who's gonna get that piano. So,
Oh, we know who's gonna get it.
okay, but does everybody else know who's gonna?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times, family members, one child will say, oh, I want that, and you say you can have it, and the other child has no idea. And in their head, they haven't discussed it with you, but they want it. So it might be an oriental rug. So my suggestion is, get the family over and you say, okay, you tell me what you want, and if you can take it today, I want you to take it. So it might be an oriental rug, but they can take it, but you don't want them to take it yet, because you're still
we
living
want
in it. Okay, but if you don't want them to take it, you put a piece of tape underneath that rug that says their name on it. So at the end of the day, everybody knows who's getting what. They just lift it and go, oh, this is John's. It's already been discussed. John's getting this. Same thing with the piano. Just keep everybody on board. And that's if you're not moving. If you're moving,
No, we're not moving, we're
Okay.
trying to get rid of her stuff.
okay, well, again, if you can handle keeping the piano until she can find a home for it.
Oh, no, my niece wants it.
Oh.
It's just that they haven't got around to it.
Okay, well then you just say,
Yeah, my son's been pushing, but I
Okay,
mean,
because
still.
all you have to do is you just have to give them, time frame. Here's the time frame.
How do you find a home for a piano?
It depends on the piano. It really depends. Like baby grands, we usually can find a home for. Some
No, this is
uprights.
a nice one, and she
Okay.
wants it.
Some uprights, we do a lot of donations to churches. What we try to do is have people come and remove it, so it's not, you don't have to pay. It's very expensive to have a piano
I was gonna
removed.
say, it costs
Very
$1,000 to have a
expensive.
piano moved.
Yeah, very expensive. So if you're moving a piano that you like from a large home that you live in and you're downsizing, say, to a, something that's more convenient for yourself, like maybe a single level home, which we have a lot of people just, they're 5-bedroom, they don't need, they just want a 2-bedroom, so get a smaller home, but they have a space for their piano. We have to find special people to move that piano, because if they move it wrong, it doesn't work anymore. So that's it. That's how we do it.
But
But
where would you find a place for the home for the piano to go? Contact someone like you?
yes, I mean, we do all that research for you. And again, if it's an expensive piano, we call piano dealers and they tell us, this is what it's worth and we'll take it. If it's something that we can't get rid of, we will call some of the local churches. They usually will be very interested in those. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a problem with gifts. I have 6 children. I'm trying to tell them to please give me a gift card,
Okay.
But there are things that I don't necessarily like, and then they come and visit, and I see them kind of looking around. I have at least 6 Afghans and throws, and I only need one.
Yeah, wasn't that funny?
Right
That
now,
seems to
some
be
of
the
them
gift.
are,
They're like, we don't know what to get her. We'll just get her a throw. She's probably cold all the time. In this climate, everybody's cold.
But I have been really decluttering a lot. I've
Yeah.
given Big Brother 3 loads of things just this year, I
Yeah.
think, because it's a one-bedroom senior
Yeah.
apartment, and, but that's my biggest thing, and I'm so afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. And,
Don't even worry about it.
I know, it's just.
Don't even worry
I
about
keep
it. You
thinking
know, you
about it.
think that they do remember. So you keep things like a year, and then you know, if they ask, oh, I put that away.
Well, or it broke.
Bro, I put it away. They're not gonna ask.
Well,
They're not gonna ask. As long as they see you use it once. That's all they wanna see. You used it once.
Well, they might want it back, rather than hurt their feelings and get rid of it.
I wouldn't go there.
Say, I know, but if
I
they
wouldn't go
see that-
there.
Really, if you have 4 or 5, they're gonna see that you don't need them.
And definitely when they come to visit, they are sort of scared.
But I would pay an option if I
And
have
what's
to
around.
declutter. I wouldn't want it.
Oh, right. Well, if you go into the process of decluttering and they know you're decluttering,
Yeah.
and you know, like, this is what I'm doing, I'm decluttering, come over, I want you to take some of these things, stack up all your, Afghans and say, I only need one, I'm just gonna keep this one. So yes, you could probably do something like that. But if you're slowly getting rid of things, it's probably not as easy to ask them if they want it. So if you're going through this big phase and this is what I'm doing, please come over, I want everybody to take stuff, I've got too much stuff in my house, that's a good way to go. Yeah, I agree.
What about old records, like 78, 33 and a third?
Those might be of interest to a lot of dealers.
You?
I'm not a dealer, but I find the person that is.
Okay.
I'm not a dealer. Don't get me wrong. I do not want anybody's junk. None. No, I don't want any junk. My husband, I took a couple of logs the other day from my client's house, you know, those burn logs. My husband said, "You've got to be kidding." I go, we burn them all the time. What they're gonna do, we're throwing them away. So no, I didn't want nobody's junk.
Oh, I work in a thrift store, and there are a lot of people looking for those 78s.
Right. There you go. So you can make money on them, like we'll drop things off at thrift stores, put your name on it. Anything we do drop off for donations, we always get a slip so you can write it off in taxes. But everything we do with you is all recorded. So anything we walk out of that house with is recorded, and we let you know.
So you would take records and sell them for us?
I would take records and I'd bring them to your local thrift store and put your name on it, and they'll send you the check.
Oh,
Yeah, that kind of stuff. If there's a local consignment shop, if there's a dealer that I know, if you have a collection of something, clocks, I have a client right now that has a huge collection of old clocks. We found the dealer, we do like a pricing scan on them to make sure the dealer comes in and offers a decent price. But, as far as records, I mean, you can make money on it, but we're not talking $1,000 a record like we are a clock.
And they have to be in good condition,
Right.
records.
Right, and even the covers, they have to be in good condition. The covers are actually more important than the records. Okay. Any other questions?
Right, the covers have to be in good condition, maybe probably shows a little wear and tear, a little doggy ears or something, we just have to track from its value.
It does, but it doesn't, if you've got Elvis records, might not take too much away, things like that. I mean, it depends on how old the records are. Yeah. Well, let me just close with a little story that I always tell my people. It's about an older woman, and she befriends this little boy. The author of this story is Naomi Ryman. She befriends this little boy, and she sees him every day, and he's always playing with 2 Matchbox cars. Only toys he plays with. He doesn't ride a bike, he doesn't play with it, so the rector said nothing. He just plays with his 2 Matchbox cars. He eats with them, they look at him. He sleeps with them, they're on his pillow. So she decides one day, isn't this adorable? Like, what if we can get him some more cars? So she makes this little deal with the local gas station and a bunch of her friends, and she asks them to fill up at this gas station, and the gas station attendant will give you a little Matchbox car, and we'll collect enough, we'll give it to this little boy. So So they get about 20, 25 cars, they give it to the little boy. He's thrilled, so happy, loves cars, just can't believe it, you know, he didn't do anything, it's not his birthday, it's not a holiday. A couple days later, this older woman friend sees this little boy, he's not playing with any Matchbox cars. She can't understand it, she's never seen him without his Matchbox cars. She said, Jimmy, where's your cars? And he stops and he looks at her and he says, I don't know how to love so many things.
Oh, that's sweet.
So the more we have, the thinner our affection is able to spread. So keep that in mind. So, you know, you don't need all those Afghans to keep the one you like. You know, you don't need all those Hummels. Just keep the few that you know are important and have like some kind of memory to it. You don't need all those koozies because you can't use them. And again, I have my brochures, and please only, I don't want to create clutter, so only take it if you think you need my services. And I'll leave a couple here as well. And if you have any questions, please, I'll be here for, you know, a few more minutes, and you can ask me.
How do I get a hold of you?
I don't want to see myself, if that's what you're asking.
No, you gotta advertise.
Oh, I thought he was gonna sell it to me.
No.
Hope Fabiani, Transitions with Hope. You can reach me at 978-660-1935.
Okay.
I'm located in Andover, and I service the entire state of Massachusetts. Okay. Thank you.
Would you mind giving your phone number again?
978-660-1935. I will give you a card if you're
thank you.
We have like a
interested in
card
your
too.
brochure. Yes.
That ought to make him down to me, ask